You never know what Liverpool side you're going to get when they arrive, because their last couple of games they looked strong. Perhaps Newcastle have struggled a couple of times. What do you think might happen at the weekend?
I've seen, as you say, Liverpool, a total mixed bag this season. Sometimes they've been fantastic, sometimes they've been absolutely dreadful. I looked at the last away game and I thought that they seemed to be lacking a little bit of confidence. It was at Tottenham and they were in a really good position to get something out of the game, go on and win the game, and they just couldn't seem to see it through. So I personally think this Newcastle game on Saturday is going to be about the first 10 minutes and how Newcastle United start, because if they start well, then the crowd will feed off that. If they don't start well, then you're going to have all the potential Chris Hughton chance coming out, and the crowd on the players' backs a little bit. So I think the first 10 minutes of the game are vital, and that'll be down to how Alan Pardew gets his new team G'd up, and see what kind of a response they've got from his very early sort of days as manager of the club.
Liverpool, once they got their tails up, they've got a sort of a decent attacking lineup really, like Morella's coming through the middle, and Maxim Rodriguez as well, who's looked fairly decent. How do you think the Newcastle back line might cope with that? Because I suppose they're not at full strength, are they?
No, Sol Campbell and Stephen Taylor, believe it or not, are the second sort of string defence this season. Williamson and Colaccini have been first choice for different reasons. Taylor's been injured, and Sol Campbell just doesn't seem to be able to get fully match fit. I thought the defence at West Brom was really suspect. There was a couple of moments where they were just sliced right open, especially the killer goals of the game that won West Brom the points. I was really concerned about the defence, the defensive side of things, and against Liverpool, as you say, with all the players they've got and all the damage they can cause, then that could be a bad thing. But thankfully Steven Gerrard isn't playing, so he seems to pick on us and gets a buzz out of playing at St James's Park, so he's not involved in this particular game. But there's threats all over the pitch from Liverpool. It's, as you say, it depends how Newcastle United start and which Liverpool team turn up.
And I suppose it's going to be the first game for Pardew as well. Do you think that will make a difference? Because will they sort of come out like a wounded animal, or is it going to be a sort of a moment of transition really that Liverpool can capitalise on?
I'd like to think with the current crop of players we've got, and a real sort of honest sort of bunch of players, probably the most honest bunch of players that I've sort of covered as a Newcastle United writer. They do like the feelings known. When you write something they don't like, they'll let you know. If you write something they do like, they'll have a bit of a laugh with you about that as well. So I do think that when it comes to going out there and expressing themselves, they never dream about letting the fans down, which I think is a massive thing. And I fully expect them to go out there fired up, to be honest, and looking to get a big result. And whether they're playing for Chris Hughton or whether they're playing for Alan Pardew, who knows? But I reckon we'll go out there charged up, and I think they've got a chance of winning that game.